All right, so this is completely unscripted. I don't know what I'm saying, and I will figure things out. You're gonna wanna go to RTCV. If you look up RTCV, you'll find redscientistlabs.com. This link will be in the description. Then you go to download RTC launcher. And once you download it, it'll open up the launcher. Now, I'm gonna close this. I'm gonna open up my version of RTC. I have more versions here because I use the beta version, but you go to the downloader page. This is what you should be seeing. So you'll wanna select the RTCV 5.1.1. and then you hit download selected version. For me, it's already downloaded, so I don't have to do that. But you want to install Dolphin. The volume, I highly recommend the volume limiter. And then once those two are downloaded, you hit prereqs checker just to make sure that everything was there. And then you don't have to do this. You could do this without it. I personally use lists that are not default. So you can click the package downloader, you go to lists, and then personally, I download all 5 of the things that are Dolphin whatever. So Dolphin BRA Advanced, Dolphin BRA, Dolphin Float Instructions, Dolphin Float Pass-Through, and Dolphin miscellaneous instructions. I have all of those downloaded. But once you have those downloaded, you open up Dolphin. Once you open up Dolphin, you want to open up volume limiter, and you want to select Dolphin from this list up here. You select process. I personally have stuff turned down to comfortable levels for me that I figured out through trial and error. Then default everything here should be fine. You could just minimize that now. Then you go to Dolphin. You want to go to your graphics here, and under hacks, copy this here. Now, the reason why you want to do this, for some reason, if you have different settings than this, I forgot what the defaults are, but if you have different settings than this, it'll cause textures on faces to not appear and to not stay. Pretty much just copy this. And now you have these 2 screens. The main primary thing that you guys are going to want to do is change this from Nightmare to Vector Engine. Nightmare Engine is better for GameCube games and other older games, not for the Wii. For the Wii, the Vector Engine is one of the best. And personally, I always start out at 50 to 100K intensity. So you just slide this slider and it does that. Now, you could use the default. It's more than acceptable to use the default, which we will open up. Let's open up wiisports. So I'm just going to load into like the training here. Your first step that you're going to want to do is you want to click this button that says Glitch Harvester on the right of the RTC. And that'll open up this window. Now, this window is important because it allows you to create save states and save your corruptions. So the first thing you're going to want to do is say, for example, you're in a perfect spot here to save. Click 0, hit change to save. So now we have one save state here. If I were to like do this, right, I can hit load and it'll load to that save state. That is important so that you can hit the corrupt button and still go. So let's hit the corrupt button with default. There's a little bit of a wide thing up there, right? Let's see what happens. Nothing really happens. So we're going to hit corrupt again. Okay, Peter lost his head. Now, say for example, that is what you want to save. You want Peter losing his head. So you can hit this button that says to stockpile, and you want to rename it. We'll reload the save state now. And now we could just inject that by manually inject. So now we have headless Peter. But there's also the side effect. If we have a really stretched out pin here, we have tiny pins in the front. What if we don't want that? Well, we can load our save state. We can actually right click and hit this button called Sanitize. Now what sanitizing does is it allows you to purify your corruption. So you hit start sanitizing and you go through iterative layers and the effect is still here. Yup. The effect still here. Continue. Now the effect is gone. Because the effect is gone, you hit no. And it'll keep going through. But you keep going until it finds the exact corruption that caused it. And now we have that. So the only corruption here is Peter's head is massive. Or it's gone. Which has the byproduct of no bowling ball. That is actually a really weird byproduct that shouldn't be there. But it's there. So then we actually save this to stockpile. And we now name it Headless Peter Clean. There we go. Now we can load a save state. For example, let's hit corrupt, right? These pins are messed up. We can actually shove this in here by manually injecting it also. But we just load a blank save state. We can manually inject it. Now his head is huge. I personally use different lists. If you want funny physics stuff, I recommend doing the Dolphin PT FLT math for your limiter, and either doing Dolphin FLT div or NOP. Both give you really, really good corruptions, and I'll show you the div first. Hi, hello. I want to save this one to stockpile. This is a perfect example of where sanitizing comes in play. So then we'll sanitize this, and we'll start sanitizing. Now, Dak actually pointed out something really cool. You can. So let's load a stable. No sound. Okay, say for example, let's reload that one. So his hand is normal. This one we know is corrupt, and we can right click and manually inject it. So now we have both corruptions in here. So we have the no sound corruption, and we have the swinging hand corruption. Each game is different. So you have to treat each game differently. For example, this layout here works incredibly well on New Super Mario Bros. Wii. Whereas going FLT math and NOP works really well in bowling. You have to really just kind of mess around and try. So once you're done with this stockpile, you can actually hit save as. And I'm going to name this one batch 4. We have to close the game. That's how you do corruptions. And you kind of just have fun messing with values and everything. There's nothing set in stone about what you do here. So it's just entirely have fun. Seriously, that's it. Just have fun. If you have questions, you can comment them underneath this video. If you have concerns or anything else, again, you can comment them under this video. You could join my Discord, which the link will be in the description. All right, I will give a auditory thank you to my YouTube members. So thank you, Gamer Delicacy, Red XYX, Then XY, Vortoxico, Hade, Julius, Comet, TVAC, and Masta. Thank you guys so much for the support. It's because of people like you that I'm able to keep doing this stuff and keep having fun. So again, thank you, everybody. Seriously, that's it for the video for today. Once again, it's just Corruption Academy. We'll have proper videos again soon since I finished up robotics. But thank you, everybody, for watching.